it's Dot Ikweregelachiru, all the way from London, UK, and this is Talk to Dot. Today, I wanted to just bring you some updates about what's going on in terms of domestic abuse in the UK. So, what we're going to talk about today, sex, but not the pleasant bit of it. So generally, what happens in a lot of abusive relationship is that sexual abuse is a part that is very predominant. So a lot of people struggle with the fact that, oh, how can I rape my partner, or how can I rape my wife, or and stuff like that. But the truth is, it happens every day. Now, in an abusive relationship during pregnancy, abuse increases. Now, for a normal man out there, you'd be thinking, like, what sort of animal would force himself on his pregnant wife? Well, these things happen every day. And sadly, because a lot of people use religion and other things to say, well, you're my wife, or you're my girlfriend, we're partners, how can I rape you? Or you don't have the right to refuse me sex when I want it. Now, when women are pregnant or during pregnancy, there's a lot of hormones and there's a lot of emotions and everything going on. This time, the abuse increases even shortly after childbirth. Now, there are lots of stories where women end up in hospitals during pregnancy. Like, you have women who are 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, even about to give birth, that end up in the hospital in an emergency ward because they're bleeding after sex. Now, finally, in the UK, there is a lot of inquiries being looked into following several murders after rough sex. Now, not just in pregnancy, but ordinarily, a lot of abusers, they literally rape their partners and they do all kinds of things to their partners in the name of sex. Now, when a woman dies in the process, she's not there to tell her story. So when the case goes to the police, it ends up being a situation where it was her fantasy, it was her kink, that was her kink, that's how she liked it. It was just unfortunate that in the process of strangling her, she died. But she's not there to tell the story. Her legacy is left with, she was the person that liked rough sex. I know this one woman where at 8 months pregnant, she started bleeding after sex. Now, this is sex she didn't want, but she was too afraid to say no to her husband, so she bled. And then even when she bled, he didn't want her to go to the hospital because he knew that potentially people would find out. But finally, they did go to the hospital, but because he stood next to her, she couldn't actually say what had happened. So it was documented that it was rough sex, and she was given the advice that, you're pregnant and you shouldn't be doing stuff like this. But how was she supposed to say the truth when he was next to her? So these things happen on a daily basis, and now the government in UK is looking into the whole idea of, of an excuse of it was rough sex. So what is characterized as rough sex? What is rape? Sex has to be consensual between two people, even though they are married. Now, if one person doesn't want it, being the man or the woman, you don't have the right to impose yourself on them, basically because you feel like you have ownership over them. Sexual abuse is used to empower and overpower the victim and make them feel worthless and feel like there's nothing, they lose their pride and their dignity. And that's why over years, they just allow it to happen. Like I have women come to me and tell me, I can't believe that he carries on doing it even though I'm in tears and I'm crying. Now, that is not love. That is not normal. That's not consensual. How is it not clear that there is everything abnormal where one person is in tears literally, but you just carry on, So right now in the UK, and I keep repeating it, there is an ongoing conversation to put a bill against that. And when it comes to a situation where someone complains that this is the situation surrounding the sexual relationship, there's going to be a criminal conviction. I say this all the time, there's lots of things that go on in abusive relationships and abusive homes. Now, if you've never been in one, it's going to be, oh my goodness, how can that happen? But if you've been in it, and if you've been around stories of the events that surround abusive relationships, you'll understand that there is nothing normal about it. So when people say, just hang in there, that they're going to change, or it will get better, or pray, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. It doesn't get better. And the sacrifice is coming from one person, and they will sacrifice themselves, spirit, soul, and body, until the day they get killed or they literally just give up. If you know someone who is in an abusive situation, know that it is not their fault, and there's lots of people going through it. If you are in an abusive relationship, know that it is not your fault and you are not alone. You need to talk to someone. You need to find help. You need to seek help. You need to talk about what's going on in your house and reach out to someone, a friend who might be able to step up for you and help you. If you have no one else to talk to, hey, you can talk to Dot. From me to you, one love, peace, guidance, and respect.